The 11-year-old boy was talking to his mother and he said, "Mom, when I grow up and I'm a man, I'm thinking I might be a liberal." And the mother looked at the boy and said, "Hey, you have to make a decision. You can't be both." All right, I want to just share some stuff with you with regard to Canada, gender, sex, mix-up stuff, everything that's going on with the Canadian government. The prime mistake there, all he talks about is gender all the time. Nobody will understand it. I got to tell you, his government's needless obsession with gender, it's exhausting. I mean, it doesn't accomplish anything except just distraction. I mean, why don't you go out and run the country? It's kind of like being an electrician and all you do is you have a shovel in your hand, you're digging a hole. What are you doing? Well, I wanted to go hot wire something sparky. The new federal legislation now will require to take into account the intersection of sex and gender with other identity factors. Nobody knows what that means, but the Liberal government's embrace of gender-based analysis has left attorneys across the nation totally puzzled. They're saying, what does that mean? What do we do with this information? It's confusing, and now they all have to have meetings to decide when the next meeting is so they can sort out what the first meeting kind of didn't mean anyway. Talk about a waste of time, and who pays all of these people when they're having the dumb meetings? Gotta be you, gotta be me, and everybody else who lives in Canada. It's stupid. Oh, stupid politicians. I repeat myself. This thing goes on and on. Now we got a new bill. It's called the Assessment Act. And it's a bill in front of the House now. It's a preamble stuff that I'm going to share with you. And it says, we declare that the government is committed to assessing how groups of women, men, and gender diverse people may experience policies, programs, and projects. And we're going to take action that will contribute to an inclusive and democratic society. Again, I can't say it enough. What does that mean? No one knows. I mean, you got a whole bunch of weirdos, I mean, queers and steers, they're all sitting in chairs and they're trying to put stuff together. And nobody understands that Service Canada now is going on with this kind of stuff. They're saying we got to have gender-neutral language. No longer can we use the words, I don't make this stuff up. You people around the world that are listening and watching this, you got to think that I'm on something. Hey, I don't drink, I don't do drugs. This is kind of normal stuff in Canada. Work with me on this. In Canada, they are saying you can no longer use the words madame, sir, mother, or father. I almost need a moment of silence. I mean, why? Why? You can't displease the non-gendered and non-binary, if I'm saying that correctly, people who do not identify with the usual sexual categories. I don't know, pretty soon we shouldn't use colors, I guess, because some people are colorblind. There's no sense offending them. Where does this stop? Where does this start? I mean, I remember men were men and women are glad they were. I mean, how can you really stop naming things as what they are? Pardon the fumbling here, got papers. It's just so bloody bewildering. All I do is stutter. I never used to stutter, but now I do blah, 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 because it's just amazing to me. Things are totally out of control in Canada. When the government adopts policies that force the majority to adapt to the whims of tiny, tiny minorities, it doesn't make any sense. Trudeau, that would be the prime mistake. Everything seems to revolve around issues of identity, culture, religion, race, gender, sexuality, and so on. I mean, here's a guy that goes to like hundreds and hundreds of gay pride parades. What about all the normal people? Normal people are working. Why doesn't he work? I thought he had a job. What does it pay to be the Prime Minister of a country, of Canada in this case? I don't know that number, but I bet it's $250,000 at least. Here's a guy that should be fired. If you hire someone and you pay him money, any amount of money, and he or she does a bad job or doesn't do a job, you hire a guy to do the plumbing and instead he's out painting your house, you should probably fire him. How do you fire a guy like this? Goodbye, get away. Now he's saying as well, it even gets worse. Can it, you say? It can. Here it goes. Parent. You can't use the word parent. I'm mixed up. You have to use the word parent. This thing is so distracting. You can no longer call your mother a mother or your father a father. You have to refer to them as a parent because your mother really could be a man or it could be a bale of hay or a Shetland pony. So we're now going to call them parents, okay? I wonder what will happen to Father's Day, Mother's Day. Let's rename them to Crazy Day, Gender Neutral Day. I mean, here's a guy, again, in a budget, in a country, when you have a budget, it used to be both math, arithmetic, right? Numbers, and he had 348, I think it was, mentions or times that he used the word gender in a budget. Queers and steers, I can't say it enough, they're walking around in Parliament, and these guys, all the people around him, they're kind of nodding and saying, okay. Wow, the inmates are running the asylum in a free country. you can argue that gay sex is sinful or that gay sex is normal, natural, and good. You can kind of do whatever you like. But in a society that can no longer be called free, and it can't be when the state attaches penalties or withholds benefits for speaking out one's moral or beliefs. Whatever you believe in doesn't matter anymore. And if you practice something that you believe in, you get penalized. I mean, this prime mistake in Canada, he's also put in a rule that if you don't agree with abortions, you can't have a summer job. Liberals want free choice, but it's for them, and you must choose to believe what they told you to believe. That's free choice. In Canada, socialism is all about let's be equal as long as I have more. I mean, this whole thing is totally spun out of control. We need help. Conservative Party, duh. Do you kind of think it's time to be different and stop being like them? Talk to the citizens. Let's have a solution here. And I got to tell you right now, you got a big problem. So fix it, all you elected people who, by the way, you get paid. Back to the plumber. You were hired to plumb. Get out of the garden or whatever it is you're doing, that tiptoeing stuff through the daisies, and get back and be a man if you're a man and be proud of it, and a woman be good that you got men around again, and cha-cha, y'all come back tomorrow. See ya.